Brian Good from Examiner.com. I'm here with Mr. John E. Tenney.
Of course, please.
Thank you for coming. Thanks
for talking to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we're having an interview with John here, and a pleasant surprise. We're having him tell us about this new show called Ghost Stalkers. It's coming on Destination America. John, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about Stalkers.
Yeah, you know, I've been a paranormal researcher for 27 years. I actually started off studying conspiracy theory, and then one thing led to another, and I ended up trying to explain paranormal phenomena. And what really drove me into the field was when I was 17, I had a near-death experience. I actually went into cardiac arrest, my heart stopped.
And tell me that. How did that kind of transpire?
That's just a basic genetic, like it was a fluke thing. I was 17, I seemed healthy, nobody expected it to come. You know, my grandfather passed away long before I was born. He died at the age of 45 from a heart attack. So it's just a genetic defect, and I went into cardiac arrest, flatlined for 2 minutes, they got me back. But I remember the experience from being dead, and it was not a tunnel of light and your loved ones beckoning to you. Mine was reverse. Mine was dark emptiness, and truly a hellish experience. When I opened my eyes and I came back to this world, I really wanted to quest to try and find the place I was supposed to go, or the place I think I was supposed to go.
Now, how old were you when that experience happened?
I was 17 years
17 years old. And from that point in your life there, was it just the average 17-year-old, always rebel?
Yeah, I was a punk rock kid in the 80s, so I was in a punk rock band. I was the typical rebellious teen. And, you know, I'm still rebellious to a point, but I was literally transformed into a different person in the sense that I became much kinder. I started realizing the richness of life. A lot of people don't have that experience until they're much older, maybe sometimes even on their deathbed. They don't realize how precious life is. And so, even though my near-death experience was pretty horrific, it was a very positive thing for me. You know, some people look at stones in the water and they think that they'll stumble over them. Other people use them as stepping stones across the water. So it's all in perspective. So the experience, though terrifying, was a positive.
Very good, very good. Now, from that experience itself, did you notice something different about it? I know you said you told yourself about any extra perceptions.
No, you know, I know that some people have reported that when they have a near-death experience, they become more sensitive to psychic energies or ghosts or the spirit realm. And I really think if I am any more aware or any more perceptive of that type of phenomenon, it's because I've become more aware of this reality, the environment around me. I pay attention, I'm hyper-vigilant to everything. That's actually part of the near-death experience, the trauma of going through it is you suffer a certain amount of PTSD, and you become hyper-vigilant, so you pay attention to everything, you listen to everything a lot more closely than most people.
Interesting, interesting. Now, over the 27 years, what has been the most interesting case you ever experienced?
That's a question I get asked all the time, and you know, I've done everything. I've sat in on a Vatican-sponsored exorcism. I've talked to people who said that they were abducted by UFOs. I've gone on Bigfoot hunts. With ghost stalkers, I'm locking myself into some of the most allegedly haunted locations in the world. Every time an experience like that happens, it's the most intense experience because it's happening to you at the moment. And then as it fades into the background, you know, you can start to process it. But the next one that happens, so the craziest thing that ever happened to me, I mean, aside from going on Bigfoot hunts and talking to UFO contactees and sitting in on exorcisms, I actually was investigating a case one time with a gentleman whose wife had passed away back in the 1950s. And over the course of that case, I came into contact with a young woman who gave me all sorts of information about the case that probably she shouldn't have had. And it was only after the case was resolved that I actually saw a picture of his departed wife. And the girl that I had been talking to was actually his wife. It was a really profound experience. It makes you think that you're insane because you're sitting and talking to someone, we're talking to each other. It would be as if I didn't really exist. Like if you closed your eyes, opened them, and then I was gone.
Now, Ghost Stalkers now, what got you involved in this show?
Well, I got a call from our executive producer, who's Nick Braun from Ghost Adventures, and he was trying to do this show that was real reality paranormal television. A lot of shows have massive camera crews and lots of sound men, and he wanted to just strip it down bare bones, and he wanted kind of a different angle in the sense that he wanted, instead of a huge team, just 2 people. Okay. And so my co-star Chad Lindbergh has investigated this type of stuff for 4 or 5 years, and I've done this for 27. When Chad was a young child, he had Reye's syndrome and almost died. So, you know, he was introduced to his mortality at a very early age, which gives him a perception of reality that's different from most people. And it really is a unique show in the sense that when we investigate, Chad goes in one night by himself, completely isolated, alone. We do all our own camera work, there's no camera crew, which is something that's unprecedented in paranormal television. But you get to watch a kind of weathered, old, experienced guy like me, my reactions when something starts to happen. And then, you know, the next night you get to watch it from the perspective of someone who's not used to, you know, phantom touches on your shoulder or weird voices and sounds. And so you get a really good blend of kind of belief, skepticism, and then we always have at least one experiment where we actually bring in people like David Roundtree, who's one of our tech specialists, and we do a scientific experiment. We hypothesize about what might be happening. We bring in equipment that nobody's really ever seen before on television, and we try and see if that leads us to some answers.
That was my next question. I wanted to ask you here, what's your technique for bringing in? I know you're bringing the infrared and the voice activated, just by sighting sound.
Well, it's really strange what we do, like especially like in the premiere episode, people will see David has been working for the past 8 years on a wormhole test to detect microscopic wormholes that open up that may allow energy to transfer between dimensions. So we have this huge piece of equipment that's monitoring the environment the whole time. When Chad and I go in, we have some things like ion counters, which can detect negative and positive ions, gamma radiation bursts, things like that. But a lot of times we really do strip it down bare bones. The show is about watching us have these experiences. Obviously we have cameras that are recording sound and video. We have our digital recorders in case we want to do EVP sessions. But we really wanted to strip it down bare bones and not only make it about watching this kind of ghostly experience, but watching the psychology, the personal experience of someone having all this stuff without having to bury it under bells and whistles and flashing lights.
Now, after your investigation and all that, is it just simply a conclusion at the end of the show? What you found, what you didn't find, what you expected to find?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm really happy, and another real big difference about this show is that we don't really draw hard conclusions. As a researcher, and one of the things that I've tried to impress upon Chad as we've become closer and closer friends is that no one knows what any of this stuff is. So to kind of dovetail it and pigeonhole it in a certain place and say this is a ghost or this is such and such, when you start making predeterminations like that, you lead yourself down a kind of weird path. You close yourself off to a much wider, weirder reality that is around us all the time.
Now, John, is there anything you'd like to add to the audience to maybe tune in what time the show is?
Yeah, so it premieres on Destination America on October 19th, 10/9 Central, and runs every Sunday after that for 6 Sundays. The first season is 6 episodes, and each episode is an hour long, and I really do think this is a step in the right direction. Over the past few years, paranormal television has gotten kind of oversaturated and it's kind of formulaic at this point. And what we've done with Ghost Stalkers is really push it to the next level. I really think that people are going to be amazed at what we've done and what they see.
I'm looking forward to it. Definitely one of the better fans there. Where can people go to basically view it online or simply tweet or Facebook?
Yeah, they can go to Destination America for more information about the show, and then on Twitter, I think it's at Dest America, DEST America, and they can hashtag Ghost Stalkers, and we'll see it that way. That's probably the best way to do it is hashtag Ghost Stalkers and trend that out so other people can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, and Facebook.com/Destination America too.
Facebook.com/Destination America. That was October 17th.
October 19th.
October 19th.
Sunday.
ladies and gentlemen, October 19th, go and turn on to Destination America, and that's 9 o'clock, 10 Central. Watch my friend John and Chad bring you all the paranormal activity you ever wanted on that show. All right? This is Brian Madrid reporting for Examiner.com, and that's my sword. I'm sticking to it. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you so